Hey guys, welcome to the MSL round of 4. Whoever wins this goes on to the championship. Stork versus Jangbi. It's almost Uvi versus Boxer-esque. The protege versus the mentor. And the question is who's going to take it? Jangbi kind of has a classic MO of choking when it comes to these big games. Stork has already taken a championship. He had a reputation for taking silver medals. Can't talk all of a sudden. Silver medals and taking second place, the Neo Yellow, but has a championship. Did that give him the mental edge? And just a special occasion, we have Ranchin on. Well, I should say I have Ranchin on for a dual commentary here. He's also done a lot of coverage in the MSL. If you haven't already checked it out, go to the SC2GG main page and check out his account for syncing. This is on Byzantium 2, by the way. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And sweet, Ranchin, it's good to have you along.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to finally do a duel with you, and of course, excited for freaking Stork versus Jangbi. I mean, who cannot be excited for that? Get the colors out of the way. That's 1 o'clock in blue is going to be Stork, and that means at 11 o'clock in purple, violet, pink, whatever the heck that is, it's going to be Jangbi. So it's going to be awesome. What I gotta mention here is that, very interestingly, Stork has always said that he has huge trouble beating Jangbi in practice. Like 80% of the times plus, Jangbi beats his ass. So we're gonna see whether that kind of plays into, maybe Stork will feel a little bit pressure because of that. If you lose continuously to a guy, you gotta be feeling a little bit nervous. So we're gonna see whether that gives Jangbi a little bit of an edge. And Jangbi has gotten into these positions before by choking, and these players both actually have a slight history of choking. And all in all, like, we'll look forward to the possibly huge macro game that we might see on Byzantium 2 here. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's almost the choke fest altogether. You got Luxury on the opposite side, who's gotten very close to championships and then has just fallen apart. You have Stork, who historically before his championship was considered the ultimate choker, always taking second place. And you have Jangbi, who's gotta want this so bad. He's gone to the round of 4, I think, for 3 or 4 seasons in a row now. Looks like he's gonna go for a standard opening. Has that Gui on the edge, and looks like a wow, just about even on the pull too. And I've got to agree, I think I'm going to give the edge to Jangbi, just because hearing Stork talk about his comparative to Bisu, Jangbi's like, I don't fear Bisu, whereas Stork is like, I don't think I can beat Bisu. And that might be just because Jangbi's a younger player. He's got really, they talk about the APM factor. He's just got a ridiculous APM. And it's, in particular, his Storm Micro is crazy. But I think Stork is wilier than Jangbi is. He's got that creative edge. He's not quite as wily as Cal is, but he's still an extremely wily player. And it looks like he's going to get the scout first. He's got that probe heading into the upper right-hand corner. Going to see Stork's base here. And it looks like try to go to work on that probes. That isn't, however, that should give Stork an idea of where he's located, and it looks like both players, this is going to open up the opportunity for perhaps a mana pylon. Cybernetics Core on one edge, Cybernetics Core not going down on the other side though, so it looks like Jangbi's going for more of a tech build, where Stork is going for more a 2-gate into 4-gate fast expansion build at this stage.
Yeah, looks interesting what kind of builds they're going to go over for. Cybernetics Core being put up by Jangbi, and Zealot now out for Stork, also putting down the Cybernetics Core. Going to see, interestingly enough, how these builds will go. It might be a deciding factor who decides to go for the aggression, because in PvP is so important whether you're going to go for aggression or more of an expand build. Stork trying to get a scout inside and not block successfully with Zealot. Of course, you have such a hard time blocking off that huge ramp with only one Zealot. You need at least 2, and even then a probe can still sneak by. Zealot's still trying to run around, get that probe. It's not going to happen. Just going to see, I think it's going to be very important to see what tech he goes for. Range being operated by Jangbi, so he might be going for 2-gate goon range or whatnot. And it's also so important to see who decides to go Dragoon heavy instead of going for Reavers, who decides to go in harassment instead of going for a stable army. 2 Zealots running there for Stork, still trying to catch that one probe who's running around with his little AI Nyanya. And just no real action so far, but it's so important what important these early builds you get off. They're going to decide the match eventually. Both players have, well, they're not like Bisu in that regard. The Bisu really loves going for the harassment. These players are a little bit different. First Dragoon now out for Jangbi. That's going to prevent that scouting probe. Is died right there.
It looks like we have Stork has the 2 Zealots, has the Dragoon. He's going to push forward, at least try to deny information on the forward edge. Looks like 2 Dragoons versus 1 Zealot on the opposite end. That's a slight, and it looks like Stork already trying to set up on that secondary. Let's see if he puts a pylon out here first. And going robotics facility, actually, so it looks like it's going to be 1 Gate Reaver, perhaps into expansion, or he was just trying to give a look as though he was going to go for an expansion instead. It's going to be really key for him to kill this probe scout that I think is eventually going to head that direction. So yeah, Stork putting that additional pylon, which really suggested that he was going to go for more of an economics build, where he wanted the probes first rather than the Dragoons. Right now the scout's coming up to see the 2 Zealots and the 2 Dragoons, but Stork instead switching into 2-gate Reaver tech, and it looks like Jangbi is actually going to be the one going for that fast expansion. Let's see how long it's going to be before he gets that robo up. He could be in a bit of trouble here, because I think he was thinking what I was thinking, that Stork, he was thinking what I was thinking, and that he knew that I knew that whatever. I think he was thinking that Stork was in fact going to go for expansion. You can see he's trying to press those units back so he can get a look at the secondary. He sees that the secondary is open. He also sees that 3rd Dragoon coming out. So I think he might have a good indication here that Stork might be going for more of a variance build, that he's not taking his expansion, that he's going for tech rather than something else. I think pushing those Dragoons back, pushing those units back was absolutely key. 3 Dragoons on 3 Dragoons and 2 Zealots alongside. Those Zealots need to just press forward. I'm kind of curious why Stork keeps pushing this back. Just run the Zealots in and start damaging. The one advantage here was range for just a couple of seconds. Now that robotics facility going down, that's no longer the case. 1 Dragoon getting picked off though, 2 more to join up, and now Jangbi definitely knows the number of gates that Stork has, but he's been pretty effective at picking off units otherwise. His expansion almost up. He's got 2 more gateways going down, so Stork is going to have to do a lot with this Reaver harass. Looks like Jangbi coming back around. And I think Jangbi might be prepared for it. He's going to have, I think he has a pretty good idea. Stork looking a little bit shaken with that attack on that front door. So it's going to come down to Stork's Reaver micro here into the mid-game. He's got to do some damage across one of these 2 expansions, but Jangbi's going to have a lot of troops out. He's going to have a lot of Dragoons out to basically press against this. Let's see if Stork decides to go for an expansion after this Reaver harass, or if he's just going to go for kind of the all-in press. He is going to have the troop advantage. He could also go just for that front door press with that Reaver Dragoon. But yeah, everything's going to come down to this Reaver right now. Otherwise, he's just going to fall behind economically.
Yeah, just so critically, Jangbi did such a wonderful job of taking out those 2 Dragoons. Stork he shouldn't have lost those Dragoons. He had a unit advantage. Now pushing out a little bit to prevent that probe scout that was coming in from Jangbi. Jangbi trying to sneak in a probe to get a scout. I'm repeating myself. So now Stork actually pushing out. We're going to see whether he's going to put on some early pressure. He possibly could try to distract the forces, keeping Jangbi's forces at the front, so he can try to sneak in his shuttle from the back and try to do some sort of economic damage. It's going to be so critical how he uses this Reaver here. He might even possibly think of a frontal assault, although I think that could be a lot more dangerous for him. I'm going to see what he goes for. He's having his shuttle actually alongside his Dragoons. Jangbi has a superior number of troops on the ground. Stork, critically having lost those 2 Dragoons, now is at a little bit of a disadvantage. We're going to see whether he pushes in or not. We just try to put some pressure on. Has some Dragoons, has some Zealots, has the shuttle in, and there is going to be engagement. The Reaver goes down. He's actually going to use that Reaver. He is in danger. The 1 scarab that goes off, and they're going to be Jangbi targeting the shuttle. Shuttle goes down. Reaver on this. Reaver also go down, and Stork losing his Reaver and shuttle. Dragoon count almost even, but Jangbi now pulling his probes alive. They're going to be able to block pretty well. Stork microing them pretty well. They're taking down all the Dragoons of Jangbi, despite having lost the shuttle and the Reaver, doing a pretty good job here, trying to engage as well as he can. There's only 2 Dragoons still inside, but Jangbi is going to reinforce with more, doing a pretty good job with his probes, and now has killed this attack. Stork doing a horrible job initially, losing that, almost bringing back, but Jangbi, of course, with the resupply route to his secondary so darn close, was able to reinforce that. Stork now gonna be at a pretty bad economic disadvantage. Now putting down his own nexus. Still has only 2 gateways, and their robotics facility produced an observer from that. From there's already 4 gateways now up for Jangbi, as well as putting down his observatory before his robotic support, I believe. So he's not going to worry about the Reavers right away. He's going to just get a bunch of Dragoons out there, because he knows that Stork is not going to be pushing. He lost his Reaver, lost his shuttle. Stork's not going to be able to do anything right away. Stork has produced another Reaver though, but I don't see any shuttle for him, so that's probably going to be simply for defense in case Jangbi decides to push in on this expansion. He's going to move out with a probe. We're going to see what that probe does spot that nexus, so Jangbi knows that if he presses, he could do a lot of damage, and he is indeed going to do that, moving out with a bunch of Dragoons. And this attack could be critical. We're going to see what he manages here. If he manages to push in into Stork's base, Stork's going to be in a huge amount of trouble. We're going to see how well he defends. He doesn't have as many Dragoons as Jangbi does. He does have that 1 Reaver who should be, in a defensive position there. But all in all, it's going to be critical position. That Nexus is not going to get up yet. This little attack could decide the game here.
Yeah, I think that was smart on Jangbi's part. I'm surprised that Stork did not press forward to kill that probe, instead falling back. He really didn't need to do that. He could single shot it. Needs to be careful not to lose that Reaver. That was absolutely huge. He's going to win this fight, but it's going to be the reinforcements that's really going to hurt him after this. The probe's coming off the line to assist, but Stork should have a couple reinforcements coming up, but he doesn't have the gateway production to win this fight. In the long run, he's most likely going to lose his secondary. Yeah, you can see where just losing a few troops on that front, that might have been the difference in that initial fight where he was being a little bit too pressured. I think he was a little bit too greedy with that first Reaver. Second Reaver out, but I don't think it's going to be enough to fight off all of Jangbi's reinforcements, although it looks like he is, Stork, doing a pretty good job microing that Reaver back to keep it alive. One shot away, and with that Reaver alive, he is going to be able to hold and able, on the bonus, to be able to take out Jangbi's Observer. So, and needed to be a little bit careful not to overextend his Dragoons too much. But Stork able to get his expansion up. It looks like he has managed to absorb the counterattack, but he's going to be absorbing attacks for a while. Just charging through to pick the Reaver off. Able to pick the Reaver off once again. Now just going to charge down to get a look at how many gateways are down. He's going to see the 2 gates. He's going to see the fact that Stork was playing it on the cheap. And as a result, he's really going to come away with this battle. I think he's just going to barrel in at this stage. He knows he's got a huge production advantage. He knows he's going to be able to outnumber Stork basically no matter what. The only difference will be the Reavers now trying to get 2 gateways down the backfield. But honestly, I think that Jangbi just has too large a production advantage, putting another gateway down on top of it. He's just going to be able to roll this over, producing a couple Zelts, getting a Citadel of Vadun. He wants to get that speed to really thin those Reaver numbers out. But yeah, Jangbi has the economic edge. He's just had more probes for longer, and he's going to hold that, knowing his macro for quite some time. On top of everything else, Stork is completely in the dark, it looks like. He thinks a Reaver harass might be coming in. He's got some Dragoons posted in the backfield, which is exactly what he doesn't need. He needs to have those Reavers, or he needs to have those troops on the front door to engage a much larger army that's going to be barreling in momentarily. And it looks like Stork now trying to get some gateways down of his own to try to equalize this. I think he's just going to be a little bit too late. So, and it's sending in another probe scout. He's going to see that Reaver alongside. But yeah, Jangbi's going to press it. He's going to go for the attack. He's going to allow his reinforcements to do the talking for him. I don't think that speed's going to be on time. But at the very least, he's going to be able to have the Templar archives out, and he's just going to be able to ride this economic advantage for a while, contain Stork if he wants to, or press the attack if he wants to. I think he'd be better just going for a containment rather than attack here. But either way, he's in a great position.
Yeah, just Jangbi doing a wonderful job. Also, so important for him that he's been getting the scout the entire game, sending out those probes, sacrificing them for the cause, as they say. And we're going to see sending out this observer, and Jangbi might be thinking of pushing in, just continuously seeing this first-person view, sending observers all over the place so he can spot the troop movement. And Jangbi is 6 gateways to Stork's 4, and Stork, of course, got his expansion so much later than Jangbi's. Doesn't have the production for it. He has to really defend here. He's going to be at a very bad position now, pushing forward a little bit with some Dragoons and some Zealots. I think with an observer as well, just trying to spot the army of Jangbi. Jangbi has pulled off a little bit, so he's kind of holding in the contain. 5 gateways now out there for Stork. He does have that shuttle out, and finally going to be able to put some more Reavers in there. And I think the only small shot chance that Stork might have if he's pulls back some insane Reaver micros, that's going to be the only chance, because Jangbi has so much, setting himself up for another expansion here. Mineral only, I believe that is, and has so many troops. There's a bunch of Zealots, which speed will be ready fairly soon. I think he might just wait for that speed before he decides to barrel in and just completely take Stork out. And it's just going to be so critical for Stork to micro everything so well. We're going to see when the attack happens. Jangbi expanding all over the place. He loves doing this. He's the kind of player that just loves to expand all over the place. A Protoss player that expands like a Zerg. I always found that very interesting about him, putting a gateway at his natural as well. So I think his 7 gates should be 8 gates very soon. Has the Templar Archives as well, actually. So we're going to see what he uses that for. Stork adding even more gateways, still not just at where he wants to be attacked. Dark Templar running out there for Jangbi, that's what he wants. We're going to see whether he tries to use the shuttle with that. Stork, meanwhile, is pushing out a little bit, just trying to spot the position. We're going to see whether he tries to go for an expansion himself, and that it would be very interesting to see if that Dark Templar could actually run by Observer of Stork and take it down there. And Dark Templar is actually even going to use this opportunity to try to run by. There's nothing to defend. I don't see any observers there. There are those pylons, some of them blocking, but the Dark Templar is going to move inside. It's going to start raping these probes. all over the place. One goes down, more down. Now Stork going to move out this position. Jangbi getting a pretty good surround. Shuttles and Reavers out there. Scarab shots pretty decent, but Stork trying to hold the position as well as he can. I think he might have lost his shuttle, and one of his Reavers, second Reaver, is also going to go down. He gets a few Scarab shots off. Meanwhile, Stork trying to hold as well as he can. Jangbi just holding his distance. Meanwhile, on the other side, his Dark Templar has killed so many probes, and I think at this point, even if Stork somehow miraculously manages to take out this battle, he's going to lose this game. High Templar also now out for Jangbi, and we all know what he can do with those. Dark Templar now running inside of the main of Stork's.
I'm not sure if that was genius on Jangbi's part or bad luck on Stork's part, but he's still in the middle of a battle. He's not hearing that attack sound. He's not seeing his Nexus, or perhaps he just doesn't care. High Templar out in the field as well, but this is game. I think Stork, maybe if he'd gone with a speed shuttle attack and done something suicide along those regards into the back of Jangbi's base, he might have been able to take this first game, but it looks like Jangbi has this game locked. Not a single probe. It's like a ghost town here. 2 probes running towards the secondary. Stork's got to do it with the troops on the ground, and with High Templar, Zealots out, and probes to attack as well. I think that's going to be it. Jangbi knows it. He knows that's his last grouping of attack forces. He's going to try to surround those Dragoons. Stork GG's. Jangbi takes game 1. This does not bode well for Stork here. His younger brother, in a sense, has just dominated game 1. Everything going right for him in that game. We'll see if he can do better in game 2. But yeah, again, special thanks to Ranchin for being alongside. Gonna go into set 2. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for listening.